Michigan State University Interim President Teresa Woodruff joins me to elaborate on topics she covers in her January 2024 Spartan Community Letter, which you can read by clicking on the Communications tab at president.msu.edu. President Woodruff, Happy New Year. Welcome back.
Happy New Year. Thanks so much, Russ.
Let's first talk about health and well-being. On the 10th of January, you joined Dr. Monahana Atisha, Governor Gretchen Whitmer, program partners, and Flint moms and babies for the launch of RX Kids. Talk about this cool Flint RX Kids program.
I think many people, many Spartans know Dr. Mona, and she's just a great member of our MSU pediatrics and public health community in Flint, and has done so much for our families there. And what she's always said is she wanted to prescribe away poverty. And so that's been a longstanding quest for her. And so together, MSU, the state of Michigan, and many donors, including CS Mott and Doris Duke and a lot of others, have come together to give her that opportunity to prescribe away, or as she says, prescribe away poverty. And so in the city of Flint, RX Kids will be a cash supplement to help moms be able to buy diapers and be able to get bus fare and do the kinds of things that are enabling to that early development that vulnerable families often don't have. So we're excited to be part of this initiative, which actually includes the University of Michigan. And I think you know, Russ, and you'll probably be there. I hope you will be. Our Michigan State men's basketball game will be on January 30th, and we're going to host a really exciting game, but we're also going to host the RX Kids. And there are probably going to be a few babies around, so that'll be a lot of fun to have them in their Spartan onesies. And it's an exciting time to see this kind of impact that can happen when the state and a university like ours can really come together and make a difference in the lives of kids.
And I especially think it's exciting for you as a researcher because you research reproductive science.
Yeah, that's right. My own area is in reproductive science and medicine. And so enabling the health of the next generation of kids and moms is really a special part of my interests. And certainly that's going to lift the entire state of Michigan. And I look forward to seeing these kids. I did say in my remarks there, Russ, that they will be the entering class of Spartans in 2040, 2041. So I have a letter that I have written to my future self, whoever that president is at that time, to admit and welcome these kids into our Spartan family. And, it'll be fun to see them graduate then in 2044 or 2045. And what we'll see is a cycle of positive engagement that's going to lift a generation up. And I'm excited for what comes next for these kids.
Spartans will. And of course, there's much more online at flintrxkids.com. And we do know that physical, mental, and social health is integral to our own success as a university community. A comprehensive health and well-being assessment conducted by MSU's University Health and Well-Being Division is now underway, including a survey of students, faculty, and staff this month, and planned focus groups and key informant interviews. And the process will culminate in a 5-year health and well-being plan. What are the goals of the assessment? Why is this important right now?
It's really critical that we understand our community's needs and interests as they continue to evolve. And so, I've always been a big tent person, and always, Russ, I think I've said to you in the past, I never learn anything talking to myself. So we've been very much about the business of this university by integrating the totality of the university's voice. And in so doing it might take just one more tick of the wheel to get that information. But to me, that's the most valuable asset we have is people's experiences, and integrating that then into our decisions and next steps, to me, has great wisdom. And Dr. Alexis Travis, who is leading our University Health and Wellbeing Division, is very much along that same lineage of bringing in the information. So our goal really is to hear what are those most pressing needs, and to be able to use that in developing, as you said, I think, that strategic plan so that we're informed and we're all together. And I think when we lock arms on these kinds of big initiatives, it helps us realize that we're all a part of something bigger, and that even though there is this big organization, each voice matters. And I hope that is a clarion call to people to really be a part of a culture of well-being that we can support over time.
And Spartan students, faculty, and staff are encouraged to take a few minutes to complete the anonymous online survey before it closes January 29th. There's more at uhw.msu.edu. And President Woodruff, as we prepare to acknowledge the violence that took place on campus last February 13th, what are our plans to remember?
Well, and I want to, even in this podcast, want to make sure that people know that when we talk about this, I know it evokes strong emotions in myself, I know in you, Russ, and others. So want to make sure that people know that even as we celebrate, we want people to be able to step away from the engagements, as well as, be thoughtful about what your needs are. And that's really critical. We did announce that there would be no classes. Most of our classes will not be held on February 13th. There are a few that will proceed. We have been thoughtful about every person. And again, really this kind of every soul matters at MSU. And knowing that people are at different paces along the walk, and some people aren't even on the same pathway. So we have to really think about that broad experiential way in which we're walking into this moment. And we're very thoughtful about the fact that, we are a community where many of us live here on campus. And so for nearly 18,000 people, it means that some folks will be working on those days. And I want the community to know that we've made accommodations for those folks as well. And so that's really critical, that we continue to be able to operate the university even while we're and thoughtful about each individual. We are, and this has been planned by our students and those most directly affected by the incident on February 13th, is a gathering that will come together as an evening remembrance that will follow a day of kindness and service. And our student leaders really believe that we have to be about the business of the university around and in our community. And I'm really delighted that that's the way our students think, and certainly honored to participate with them. That evening is going to be a remembrance that's not going to be a bunch of people saying things, but really it's just a time to gather. Beaumont Tower bells will ring and we will play shadows, and there will be resources available, but it's a time for Spartans to be together. And Spartans have been strong and in the past, and now we ask Spartans to come together. And that's going to be really critical. And I know, Russ, there's been questions about some of the memorials that are planned for campus. We really do thank ASMSU for their memorial bench, and that's going to be placed in a plaza near Berkey before the end of this semester. And so that is planned. We also have the permanent memorial. And again, sometimes when you say you really want to hear all the voices, you have to give time and space for that to occur. And so we are doing that, but there is a committee that's been working, very active, very engaged, and I'm very pleased with the progress. And I think we'll have a memorial and an artist that will be engaged with us over the summer and the fall. And by the spring of next year, our second anniversary, there will be an opportunity for us to all gather together again in some way around that permanent memorial. So we're being thoughtful in every way we can to support all Spartans and provide the ways in which we can walk together forward.
Yes, yes. And January is Stalking Awareness Month, and it's an imperative that we acknowledge this too.
That's right. And, it is on at this time that we think about the ways in which MSU and our history and our present continues to be that which we hope can be healing to survivors of past crimes and sexual abuses in a variety of different settings. And we also want to highlight that the Stalking Awareness Month is something that sometimes fades into the corners, and we don't think about it as something as traumatic and dangerous. And in fact, these can be criminal acts. So we are highlighting that to make sure that it isn't held in the shadows, and want to continue to give supportive resources to those who are survivors. And I think many people know about our Center for Survivors, and of course the support more at msu.edu is an important resource for folks.
And I know you were pleased when recently MSU was named a voter-friendly campus. What do you like about the MSU Votes initiative?
Well, it's a really critical part of giving voice and taking action. And certainly, as we think back, my first letter to campus this fall really was an affirmation of our freedom of speech and expression. And that was critical because there are places where this is not valued. And this is a place where voices are heard, and that we can all think together in ways that can change mind and change action. And one of the ways that we take action is not just in voice, but in voting. And it is in our great democracy, the way we envision giving our vote to those who will enact our goals in this democracy of ours, particularly in this year. So Michigan State has for many years worked to enable unfettered access for our undergraduates and graduate students, for our entire community. In the past, we've been lauded for the work that we do, but we don't want to sit on our laurels. We want to make sure that that every student, every faculty, every staff makes plans for making their views heard in the various election activities. And so we're ready, and it's a way to take action. And I want to encourage everyone to be part of this activity.
And in another example of Spartan's will, MSU rose to the #1 spot for service learning among public four-year institutions in the U.S. News and World Report's 2024 Best College Rankings.
Well, and last week I was with 130 of our Spartan volunteers, and you're going to be just wowed. It was, nearly 24,000 hours of community engaged work. And you and I talked about this last year, and I thought, how would those numbers ever be eclipsed? And we really are a place where our students believe in service. And, as we think to spring break coming up, as everybody knows, late in February, but early, it seems, in this calendar year, many of our students don't go to Cancun, and they're not partying, on the beach. They're actually doing work and volunteering their time. And so I couldn't be more pleased. And when I addressed those students, I knew as I was looking at each of them, and they were able to bring parents or family members with them, that there were a lot of unsung hours where nobody knew what they were doing, but they were doing the kind of work that was enabling to others, and not looking for that accolade, not looking for someone to give them the attaboy, not looking for someone to shake their hand or clap for them. They were doing it because it was meaningful to them. And that, to me, is what being a Spartan is all about.
And speaking of being among the best, congratulations are in order for former Spartans head football coach Mark D'Antonio for his election to the College Football Hall of Fame.
I was so excited to send a text to him when Alan let me know that Mark had gotten that vote, and it well-deserved, well-earned. And, all Spartans are proud of Mark and what he's done.
And back on January 17th, I saw you at the Alienware MSU Esports Lounge ribbon cutting. Talk about what this cool new esports lounge is and what it portends for MSU.
Well, it's exciting that we now have a varsity esport team, as you saw. And I think the most important thing is, as you know, Garland Gilchrist, our lieutenant governor, was there and made some really vivid remarks on how important esport is for our students. And this lounge allows for access to cutting edge technology. But most importantly, it turns out Garland is a Wolverine. And so he and I went head to head. And I think you might have noticed that I did, in fact, outpace and win against Garland. And he was a good sport. But I certainly, as his car was flipped on its back, I let him kind of flip over a couple of times. But it was good to have that win under my belt. And the students are just great, Russ. They are just fantastic and excited. And there's a new era of competition and community that we'll have within ComArts-Sci that I'm excited about.
Yeah, the lieutenant governor talked about another feather in the cap. This is for MSU and how it will attract, the next generation of scholars interested in this area. So,
That's right. And, top 10 in game theory and
right.
design. And I think some years on some of the global rankings, we've been number 1 or 2, depending on what Shanghai is doing. So my sense is that this is an area of real growth and development. And it allows in this digital innovation space, the ability for folks to train in a way that they can enjoy, but also will build competencies for their future.
Yeah, that's what I wonder if maybe the esports team can get together with Brian Wynn's Gel Lab, the games for entertainment and learning that you've talked about is so highly rated all the time. Seems like there's probably some synergy there.
Yep, I think you're right.
And what I'd like to have you, as you did in your letter, acknowledge the passing of a true MSU icon, Pauline Adams, at age 101.
I was with Pauline just before Christmas, and just one of the greatest Spartans. Remembers vividly both what's happening in the news yesterday as well as what happened 80 years ago. And she was recalling the first day that she and her husband arrived, Walter Adams, on campus. And she was a great teacher, a great thinker. And she read everything, Russ, and I think she even listened to your podcast. And she was able to cut through some of the noise and really get to what was essential. And I think that she represents every educator at this institution who cares deeply about transforming the lives of those who walk through the classroom door through knowledge that they couldn't gain any other way than with the assistance of a great educator. And she was that. And I've sent our condolences as a university to her son. And, we look forward to celebrating Pauline and give tribute to her over time.
Yes, rest in peace, Mrs. Adams. And Teresa, it's not in this particular letter, but I'd love to have you give us an update on the Engineering and Digital Innovation Center project and how important that is.
Oh, well, thank you for asking. It's the thing I love talking about most, you may know, but Engineering Digital Innovation Center, or EDIC, EDIC, is a center that will, I think, bridge where we are today in engineering to the broadening of the digital innovation frontiers. That involves not just computer science and engineering sciences, but also the humanities and social science. So as we continue to build out areas of artificial intelligence, we need genuine intelligence. So EDIC includes both AI and, I like to say, GI. And so it's going to bring together folks for that digital future that needs different perspectives on the technology and the way that technology is going to be communicated and enabled. So that's what EDIC really envelops. And we were really pleased that the state of Michigan gave us and really believes in what we're doing, $30 million toward the EDIC program. We're working with them again this year on additional funding structures. But we expect to recruit 1,500 new students, about 100 new faculty, and the synergy between engineering and digital innovation is critical. And we've developed a new engineering tech degree that will allow students to come from 2-year colleges to 4-year colleges that are going to open up and allow for more inclusivity of folks who thought they were precluded from being in this space. The 21st century needs a 21st century workforce. And we can't work in the ways of the past. We have to work in the ways of the future. And I'm convinced that if we get EDIC right, where in fact, instead of you going to a college, the colleges come to you so that you can learn within this new enriched and difference-making environment, we're going to transform education across not only the Big Ten, but the rest of the nation. And I'm excited for what comes next. And this is going to allow us to maintain and develop excellence and a whole range of different opportunities. And so EDIC, Engineering Digital Innovation Center, our top priority as a university. And I'm looking forward to passing that baton on to Kevin Gutzkowitz as he comes in as president on the 4th of March.
Well, President Woodruff, thanks again for this update on all things MSU today. Before I let you go, as you do head into your final few weeks as interim president, what are you reflecting on and working on?
Well, I'm working on edict.
Yeah.
I've been talking with every legislature, every legislator. I've been talking with a lot of our business partners and how important it is that we continue to maintain leadership and develop new strategies in this area. So, there's no lame in this duck. So we are moving ahead, advancing the mission of the institution and making sure that the promises of transformative education continue to be lived out in the life of every Spartan.
Spartans will. Well, President Woodruff, thanks again for joining me.
Thank you, Russ.
That's Michigan State University Interim President Teresa K. Woodruff, elaborating on topics she covers in her January 2024 Spartan Community Letter, which you can read by clicking on the Communications tab at president.msu.edu. And I'm Russ White. This is MSU Today.